As the dissipating smoke unveiled the chaotic scene, Xiao Yao's inquisitive nature prompted her to question the unfolding situation. She wondered aloud if the inhabitants of the drunken house had somehow intercepted her plans to rob them, leading to this preemptive strike. Yi Xian, however, was quick to quell her doubts. Their exchange was abruptly cut short by a voice that echoed from above. A man, asserting his origins from the Middle Kingdom of China, was suspended in midair, his hand firmly clamped around the manager's neck. His face was contorted with rage as he accused the manager of deceit, alleging that he had lied about the quantity of top-quality spirit stones housed within the building. Caught in the midst of this escalating confrontation, Yi Xian attempted to mediate. He implored the man to release the manager, noting that they were still reliant on the manager's cooperation. The man responded with blatant disregard for Yi Xian's plea, stating that he wouldn't waste his time assessing Yi Xian's worth. Without a moment's hesitation, the man released his grip, sending the manager plummeting to the ground with a fatal impact. Witnessing this callous display of power, Yi Xian summoned his sword. He condemned those who would stoop to such depths for a small sum of spiritual stones, deeming such actions as utterly unforgivable. However, before Yi Xian could spring into action, Xiao Yao's hammer crash-landed upon the man's face with a resounding crash. She then reprimanded him for his transgressions, specifically for delaying their return to the Konglan Academy, a sin she deemed unforgivable. Following the intervention, the sixth-floor master made a timely appearance, expressing gratitude for the duo's assistance. While Xiao Yao seized the opportunity to practice what Yi Xian had taught her, Yi Xian sought some explanation regarding the current situation at the drunken immortal house. The elder responded, explaining that the damage to the Qin Kong realm origin had led to a shortage of spiritual energy. This made top-quality spiritual stones particularly valuable, attracting many to the drunken immortal house in their quest to acquire the best spirit stones. He noted that Qingzhou had become a hotbed for bandits and robbers, with law and order being virtually non-existent. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yao mentioned the guardians of Qingzhou, recalling her father's advice that they could seek help from the guardians if external forces infiltrated their realm. However, the elder revealed that the Guardian Alliance had recalled its members from around the world due to a manpower shortage in Middle-earth China. He further disclosed their decision to temporarily close all the drunken immortal buildings within the Qingzhou boundary to prevent the loss of their possessions accumulated over 1,000 years. Prompted by this revelation, Yi Xian sought further details. The elder elaborated, stating that various sects, forces, aristocratic families, casual cultivators, and even some individuals from the demon list in Middle-earth China had descended upon Qingzhou to plunder. With a bitter expression, he confessed that even the drunken immortal house was powerless against these individuals. Upon hearing the elder's revelations, Yi Xian proposed a bold plan. He suggested keeping the drunken immortal branch in the Jiang Kingdom open, relocating personnel and resources from other branches to the Jiang Kingdom. He assured the elder that his Konglan Academy would take responsibility for the safety and protection of the drunken immortal house. The elder, however, expressed his reservations. He pointed out that such a move could potentially make the Jiang Kingdom a target of public criticism and even attract the attention of countless sects. Undeterred, Yi Xian stood firm in his decision. He acknowledged the potential consequences but emphasized his desire to act. He recalled the numerous times the drunken immortal house had assisted him, and questioned how he could stand idly while they were facing adversity. Acknowledging Yi Xian's resolve, the elder agreed to the suggestion with a bright smile, internally confirming that the drunken immortal house's decision to support Yi Xian was not a mistake. As they journeyed to the Jiang Kingdom aboard a cloud ship, Yi Xian noticed Xiao Yao lost in thought, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon. Curious, he inquired about her thoughts. Xiao Yao brought up the existence of another Konglan Academy in China, questioning its relation to Yi Xian's academy. In response, he clarified that while they shared a name, the two academies were distinct entities, each with its own identity. Hearing this, Xiao Yao concluded that their academy stood alone, a sentiment that Yi Xian affirmed. In the midst of their conversation, a voice from behind them inquired if they were headed to the Ning Kingdom. This unexpected interruption put Yi Xian and Xiao Yao on high alert. Yi Xian demanded to know the stranger's identity, while Xiao Yao questioned his intentions, even speculating about a potential robbery. The stranger, who was accompanied by a fleet of ships, laughed off their suspicions. He admitted that their ship were indeed laden with wealth, but clarified that he was merely curious to know if they were his competitors. Puzzled by this, Yi Xian asked him to elaborate on what he meant by competitors. The stranger then mentioned Tuba Yen, the lord of the Ning Kingdom, who was known for her innate seductive body. This revelation caused a stir within Yi Xian. With a sinister grin, the stranger continued his explanation. He revealed that masters from the Hewan sect and Huanxiao sect had also arrived, lured by Tuba Yan's reputation. Their intent, he claimed, was to find the renowned beauty and refine her into a cauldron. Xiao Yao's eyes narrowed at this revelation, her gaze hardening on the stranger. Internally, she reaffirmed her belief that all men were indeed the same. The stranger repeated his question, asking if Yi Xian and Xiao Yao were his competitors. In response, Yi Xian launched an attack, which the stranger swiftly dodged. The stranger retaliated with an attack of his own, confirming in the process that they were indeed his competitors. Yi Xian skillfully evaded the counterattack, advising Xiao Yao to be cautious. Xiao Yao, however, effortlessly sidestepped the attack, questioning if the stranger thought he could confuse her with such a simple trick. Seeing the need for a united front, Yi Xian proposed that they team up, a suggestion to which Xiao Yao readily agreed. They launched a coordinated attack on the stranger, who quickly realized he had underestimated them. After the confrontation, Xiao Yao asked about Tuba Yan's identity. Yi Xian explained that she is a very important friend, leading Xiao Yao to understand why Yi Xian had reacted so strongly. She then asked if they were still heading to the Jiang country. Yi Xian responded that they would not be returning for now, but would instead head to the Ning country first. From a distance, an onlooker from one of the accompanying ships asked his older brother about Yi Xian, expressing his fear of him. The older brother admitted his ignorance but noted that Yi Xian had already reached the level of a sword master, a rare achievement for someone so young, even in China. The younger brother wondered aloud how such a formidable individual could hail from a small place like Qingzhou. His older brother reminded him that Qingzhou was home to many talented individuals, citing an Langshu as an example. He then instructed his younger brother to gather more information about Yi Xian and to report back as soon as he found anything. During the night, Xiao Yao reassured Yi Xian, advising him not to worry. She expressed confidence that they would have enough time to reach their destination, assuring him that his important friend would be all right. Curious about Xiao Yao's knowledge, Yi Xian asked if she had any information about the sects and families mentioned earlier in Middle-earth China. Xiao Yao provided insights, mentioning that the Huan sect and Huanxiao sect held some influence but had a tarnished reputation. She revealed their dark practices, particularly the use of women as part of their demonic rituals, aligning their exercises with the demonic path. Intrigued, Yi Xian sought more details. Xiao Yao explained that these forces were associated with the demonic path, engaging in nefarious deeds. However, she cautioned that even more formidable than them were the demons and ghosts. Setting that aside, she emphasized that these sects were not a good bunch and advised Yi Xian to eliminate them if he ever encountered them. The scene then shifts to the Ning Kingdom, where a messenger hurriedly delivers grave news to the palace. He reports that forces from Middle-earth China have surrounded the palace, with the northern side already lost and the southern gate expected to hold for no more than half an hour. He further reveals that the Li family, Yu family, and Feng family within the city have openly rebelled. Upon hearing this, Tuba Yen expresses her disdain for these families, criticizing them for exploiting the kingdom's vulnerability. She declared her intent to show them no mercy. One of her advisors painted a grim picture of the current state of affairs. She explained that the exhaustion of spiritual energy in Qingzhou had plunged the people into chaos. She further noted that the spiritual energy of their own Ning Kingdom's imperial capital was on the brink of depletion, driving those outside to desperation in their search for cultivation resources. She urged Tuba Yen to prioritize her safety and leave. Tuba Yen, however, pointed out the futility of fleeing. She reminded them that she was the target of the Huan and Huanxiao sects, questioning where she could possibly go to escape their reach. Another advisor echoed the plea for her to leave, vowing to protect her from any danger. But Tuba Yen countered, asking what would become of the people in the city if they were abandoned. With a firm resolve, she declared that this was her kingdom, and she was its ruler. Regardless of the circumstances, she would never abandon her people or her land. Amidst the billowing smoke on the battlefield, one of the invaders warned their opponent to step aside if they wished to avoid death. Emerging onto the scene, Tuba Yen took charge and retorted that such warnings should be directed by her. She sternly advised the invaders to leave her palace immediately if they wanted their lives to be spared. The soldiers of the Ning Kingdom found renewed morale upon their ruler's appearance. However, the leaders among the invaders had a different reaction. The younger individual made inappropriate comments about Tuba Yen's physique, remarking on its charm and potential addictiveness. The older individual concurred, acknowledging the rare and appealing nature of her body that aligned with his preferences. Appalled by their insolence, Tuba Yen criticized their audacity and declared that they deserved death. One of her advisors intervened, holding her arm and cautioning against hasty action. The advisor speculated that the cultivation of the invaders might not be trivial. The grandmotherly advisor stepped forward and addressed the invaders, informing them that their majesty was acquainted with the renowned warrior Yi Xian from the Jiang country. She appealed to them to retreat from the Ning country palace as a favor. Upon hearing Yi Xian's name, the younger individual expressed ignorance about his identity. In contrast, the older leader paused before repeating Yi Xian's name, speculating if he was the individual who provoked the Kongmu and offended the Dark World. The invader expressed awareness of Yi Xian and revealed that Kongmu Academy had dispatched experts from China to eliminate him. In response, the younger individual, addressing the older one as Jiang Yi, asserted the dominance of their strength, claiming that, except for the Great Cloud Empire, the other forces in Qinzhou were insignificant in comparison. Emphasizing his point, the younger individual declared that the ants were about to be ravaged by their might. He stomped the ground, creating a shockwave, prompting the two advisors to create a protective barrier for Tuba Yen. Intrigued by the advisor's capability, the younger individual directed two fighters to confront the elders. Observing Tuba Yen's concern for the elders, the individual taunted her, questioning if she really had the time to care about others. In response, Tuba Yen charged at him, expressing her intent to kill. Dismissing her as a threat, the individual criticized her impatience but expressed a liking for her approach. Confidently intercepting her attack, their chi clashed intensely, and Tuba Yen was sent flying by the force. Mockingly, the individual apologized to the ruler for starting a bit harder and asked her to bear with him. He followed it with a mocking laugh that abruptly stopped upon noticing a newcomer who caught Tuba Yen. Recognizing the person, Tuba Yen questioned how he learned about their situation. In response, Yi Xian advised her to leave it to him. Concerned, Tuba Yen warned him to be careful, informing him that their enemies were from the Huan sect. However, Yi Xian assured her that it would not be a problem. Concurring with this, Xiaoyao informed Tuba Yen that Yi Xian had just broken through the Divine Harmony realm, and the sword in his hand was already at the level of a true middle-grade sword. She added that dealing with the ugly monster would not be a problem. In response, Tuba Yen inquired about her identity, to which she responded by introducing herself as Yi Xian's friend, playfully bringing up their similar surname. Addressing Yi Xian, the individual disregarded his identity and advised him to stay out of the way, declaring his intent to capture Tuba Yen. Criticizing the audacity of the invader for daring to harm Tuba Yen, Yi Xian leaped into the air, enveloping his sword with fiery qi. Recognizing the potency of Yi Xian's attack, the individual retaliated by conjuring cloth-like restrictive bindings. However, before the bindings could ensnare his sword, Yi Xian swiftly repositioned himself in front of his opponent, showcasing his remarkable speed. Preparing for a punch, Yi Xian and the individual clashed with tremendous force, resulting in a massive explosion as their fists collided. As the smoke cleared, the extent of Yi Xian's injuries became apparent. Undeterred, Yi Xian once again surrounded his sword with qi, prompting the individual to remark on his recklessness. As Yi Xian launched his attack, the invader quickly realized that Yi Xian's power surpassed the Dharma realm level and was closer to the Imperial Law realm. In a swift move, the invader imprisoned Yi Xian in a cocoon of tight bindings, causing concern from Tuba Yen and leading Xiaoyao to ponder if Yi Xian would meet his end. Surprisingly, Yi Xian freed himself by generating a massive explosion that sent his opponent crashing to the ground. As the events unfolded, one of the onlooking invaders couldn't believe that a cultivator from the Divine Harmony realm could defeat someone at the level of the Dharma realm. Another observer questioned Yi Xian's identity, bewildered by his ability to defeat someone above his cultivation level. Approaching the once arrogant individual who now pleaded for mercy, Yi Xian ignored the plea and swiftly ended his life with a decisive slash. Following his victory, Yi Xian issued a stern warning, cautioning anyone daring to harm his people that they would face a similar fate. The remaining enemies, nervous and intimidated, quickly declared that they wouldn't dare to oppose him. Walking back to the celebrating soldiers, Yi Xian received a silent acknowledgement from Jiang Yi. Reflecting on the situation, Jiang Yi noted that in Middle-earth China, it wasn't uncommon for a divine harmony realm cultivator to defeat someone in the Dharma realm. Considering the theoretical capability of the individuals in the top 10 of the demon list, he speculated if Yi Xian is already comparable to them. Acknowledging the loss of a potential furnace for his sect, Jiang Yi sweated profusely, realizing the importance of Tubayan and her kingdom's wealth for furthering his sect's goals, leading him to silently curse Yi Xian for the complication. Approaching Tubayan, Yi Xian greeted her, subtly noting her weight loss since their last encounter. Expressing gratitude, Tubayan acknowledged Yi Xian for saving her once again. Despite accepting the thanks, Yi Xian admitted that he didn't expect it to be embarrassing. Tubayan assured him that she wouldn't mistreat him once the matter was resolved. In response, Yi Xian clarified that his comment wasn't about that. Playfully, Tubayan noted that they were no strangers and questioned his politeness in their conversation. Amidst the ongoing interaction, Xiaoyao observed with a questioning look, emphasizing that it was not the time for idle chatter. She pointed out that the two elders were still engaged in a fierce battle, making Tubayan realize that she had nearly forgotten. In response, Yi Xian declared his intention to help, and Tubayan advised him to be cautious. However, as Yi Xian prepared to engage, a powerful force suddenly stopped him in his tracks. Jiang Yi, holding a mysterious mirror that was the source of the coercion, stated that he didn't want his visit to the kingdom to be in vain. He declared that Yi Xian needed to die. In retaliation, Yi Xian intercepted the coercion with his fiery qi, resulting in an explosion upon contact. Unharmed, Jiang Yi emerged from the smoke and redirected the coercion toward Yi Xian once again. Reacting swiftly, Yi Xian directed a focused beam of qi at the mirror, causing it to shatter and explode. Observing Jiang Yi in distress over the broken mirror, Yi Xian questioned if he had more tricks, stating that without them, Jiang Yi would no longer stand a chance against him. With visible tears in his eyes, Jiang Yi expressed his desire to shred Yi Xian into 10,000 pieces. Following the intense events, the sudden appearance of an approaching army caught their attention. Jiang Yi, reacting to the sight, pointed at the army, speculating that they must be soldiers who desired the demise of the Ning Kingdom. He noted the imposing cavalry, likening it to a rainbow, and concluded that both the Ning Kingdom and Yi Xian were doomed. However, another individual among them corrected Jiang Yi, revealing that the flag belonged to the Jiang country. As the army halted in front of Yi Xian, the ninth princess questioned him, wondering why he seemed dazed, and speculated if he couldn't recognize his own soldiers. Yi Xian denied this, explaining that they just looked cool to him. The army soldiers greeted Yi Xian with respect, and he reciprocated by thanking them for their hard work. Turning to Yi Xian, the ninth princess inquired about his orders, indicating that their course of action would depend on his words. Yi Xian acknowledged her statement, ready to lead. Drawing attention to herself, Xiaoyao prompted Yi Xian to introduce her as the 8th-ranked individual on the demon list and the new vice dean of their academy. He urged everyone to show her the same respect they would show him. In compliance, the 9th princess dismounted and joined the others in showing respect to their new vice dean. Flattered by the gesture, Xiaoyao smiled while modestly dismissing their formality, emphasizing their familial connection and expressing that there was no need for such politeness. Allowing Xiaoyao to feel included as their new vice dean, the 9th princess inquired about their next course of action from her. As Xiaoyao contemplated their next move, Yi Xian gave the 9th princess a look of approval. Following this, Xiaoyao declared their next action, to destroy the invading force, an act she deemed on behalf of heaven. Yi Xian agreed, and after instructing them to protect the Ning country in the name of Konglan Academy, the soldiers immediately charged at the enemy forces. In this dire situation, the two elders approached Jiang Yi and inquired about their next steps, acknowledging the challenging situation of the overwhelming number of enemies. In response, Jiang Yi assessed that with Yi Xian's presence, the destruction of the Ning Kingdom would be delayed for the time being. Coercing them to fight, Jiang Yi asserted that their enemies were merely weak soldiers, assuring them that there was no need to be afraid. Driven by greed, the army of bandits agreed and abandoned reason, countercharging at the soldiers. At the forefront of the battle, Xiaoyao wielded her massive hammer, striking down the incoming enemies with formidable force. From a safe distance, Jiang Yi watched the unfolding chaos, scoffing at the bandits for allowing themselves to be used as a distraction, while he and his companions made their escape. Noticing Tube Yan's worried expression, Yi Xian offered words of reassurance, asserting that the band of bandits was now within their power to defeat. Tube Yan thanked him for his intervention, acknowledging that he had saved her Ning Kingdom from a dire predicament. However, she expressed concern about the powerful individuals from Middle-earth China still present in the city, doubting the ability of ordinary soldiers to handle them. The ninth princess assured her that they had already dispatched troops to clear the city of bandits. Shortly after, a soldier reported that the bandits in the city had been eliminated, marking a significant victory for their side. The ninth princess commended the soldiers for their efforts, while Tube Yan's face lit up with relief. Yi Xian, noticing her change in demeanor, asked if she was feeling better. However, their moment of respite was interrupted by Xiaoyao, who urgently informed Yi Xian that something was amiss. When questioned, Xiaoyao revealed that Jiang Yi and his companions had managed to escape. Yi Xian dismissed their escape, comparing them to crippled grasshoppers and stating that it was fine to let them go. Xiaoyao, however, felt responsible as their vice-dean, expressing guilt for letting them slip away. In response, Yi Xian reassured her that there was no need to shoulder guilt over such minor matters. Shifting the focus, he inquired about their loot. Xiaoyao reported their impressive haul: 2.9 billion gold coins, over 7 million top-quality spiritual stones, 17 Ming-level weapons, and 72 top-quality spiritual tools. The ninth princess commended Xiaoyao for her excellent work, stating that her title was well-deserved. This praise elicited a flattered laugh from Xiaoyao. Yi Xian then instructed Xiaoyao to distribute 1/3 of the loot among the soldiers, a directive she readily agreed to. As Xiaoyao rallied the soldiers to collect their share, Yi Xian invited the others to join him for a discussion. In a more private setting, Yi Xian unveiled his plan to assemble a new squad of Taoist soldiers. He emphasized that this wouldn't be just any squad, but a super squad limited to only 10 individuals. He stressed the need for excellence, specifying that these individuals should not only possess superior personal strength but also be equipped with the very best gear. The ninth princess inquired if Yi Xian was planning to arm them with true-grade equipment, prompting Yi Xian to consider if it was possible. In response, she pointed out the exorbitant cost of such equipment, questioning how he would acquire the necessary spirit stones. Seizing the moment, Tube Yan revealed a personal treasure, a storage ring containing 30 million top-quality spiritual stones to fuel their goal. Caught off guard, the ninth princess blushed, expressing her embarrassment at accepting such a generous gift. However, Tube Yan reassured her, citing their role in saving her kingdom as justification, prompting the ninth princess to reluctantly accept. However, Yi Xian argued that the funds were vital for the Ning Kingdom's survival, vehemently opposing a casual acquisition. The ninth princess, struck by a sudden realization, lent her vocal support. In a strong countermove, Tube Yan pressed on, emphasizing that they should accept the support. She recognized their crucial role in saving the kingdom from capture that night. Acknowledging her own motives, Tube Yan revealed a bit of selfishness, expressing the hope that their growing strength could one day protect her country. Yi Xian wholeheartedly committed, promising Tube Yan that as long as he lived, no harm would touch the Ning Kingdom. Moments later, as Yi Xian delved into the storage ring, the fifth-floor master entered, curious about why Yi Xian sought him out. Yi Xian laid out his plan, wanting to swap the items in the storage ring for top-notch spirit stones. Upon scrutinizing the contents, the elder concurred that they held significant value. Yi Xian stressed once again his desire for top-quality spirit stones, eliciting a reminder from the elder about the importance of assessing the items before establishing their equivalent value in the coveted top-quality spirit stones. Yi Xian agreed, acknowledging the need for a thorough assessment. Transitioning to the boundary of Qizhou, where chaos reigned, Wanli keenly observed the trouble of the populace. Contemplating the dwindling spiritual energy and the widespread evacuation, she pondered whether this signaled the grim conclusion of Qingzhou's once thriving prosperity. Suddenly, a voice from behind shattered her thoughts, bringing to the forefront their previous discussion on eradicating Yi Xian, the Jiang Kingdom, and the Ning Kingdom. Seeking Wanli's perspective, the individual awaited her opinion. With a determined stance, Wanli swiftly declared her allegiance to the Huan sect and the obliteration of Yi Xian without a moment's hesitation. After seeking confirmation, the inquirer received a resolute affirmation. Satisfied, the individual departed. Subsequently, Azuo delivered a report, disclosing that 30% of their territory had lost all spiritual energy, another 30% was rapidly dissipating, and within a month, she predicted complete spiritual energy depletion. Amidst these natural calamities, she revealed the onslaught of man-made disasters, with unrest, barbaric invasions, and rampant plundering by powerful figures from the Middle-earth China, plunging all corners of Qingzhou into turmoil. Upon hearing this, Wanli inquired about the conditions in the Jiang Kingdom and Ning Kingdom. Azuo responded, noting a relatively better situation. She disclosed Yi Xian's triumph in the initial battle for the Ning Kingdom, instilling fear among many Middle-earth China powerhouses with the exception of Huan and Huanxia sect. She concluded that these forces would likely win against Tubiyan. Upon hearing Tubiyan's name, Wanli intriguingly broached the topic of her fabled enchanting physique. In response, Azuo not only highlighted Tubiyan's alluring form but also hinted at the complexity of her blood. Intrigued, Wanli delved deeper, questioning if Tubiyan possessed a special bloodline and seeking information about its nature. Azuo, with a touch of mystery, conveyed that the specifics were currently unknown, prompting Wanli to task her with swift investigation. Adding to her instructions, Wanli requested the preparation of a cloud boat, revealing her intention to visit the Huan sect. Simultaneously, in a particular establishment, a slightly inebriated elder casually dropped Yi Xian's name, raising doubts about whether he truly is at the level of the Divine Harmony realm. In response, Jiang Yi affirmed Yi Xian's current status but expanded on the extraordinary power he wielded, comparable to the top echelons of the demon list. Jiang Yi also unveiled a significant supporter behind Yi Xian, a sword immortal. Intrigued, the elder sought confirmation, prompting Jiang Yi to affirm while explaining the sword immortal's current incapacitation reported by Kangmu Academy. Satisfied, the elder transitioned to Tubiyan, detailing her captivating attributes and the coveted Yin spirit blood of the Huan sect. He elaborated on the stringent measures to control her bloodline since childhood and speculated on her accumulation of yang fire. With a chilling revelation, the elder mused about the potential benefits of dual cultivation with Tubiyan, envisioning the consumption of her blood. Upon absorbing this revelation, Jiang Yi, addressing the elder as the vice sect leader, swiftly posed a question, seeking clarity on his statements. The elder, with a tone of authority, unveiled their sect leader's resolute decision: Tubiyan must be secured by the Huan sect. He emphasized that this acquisition would not only elevate their sect leader, but also boost the Huan sect's standing within the demonic path. Condemning Yi Xian as ignorant and audacious for obstructing their sect's actions, the elder asserted that their sect would eradicate Yi Xian completely, leaving no trace of his existence. Responding to Jiang Yi's inquiry about the fate of the sword immortal, the elder reassured him, confident that there were no issues. He asserted that even if she managed to escape Kangmu Academy's pursuit, she wouldn't dare face their sect master, who, according to the elder, could obliterate the sword immortal. Shifting to the Boundless Tower, where Yi Xian meditated before the heavenly level sword, he contemplated his current strength, augmented by the true level sword box, the heaven level sword, and his own sword power and intent. He envisioned reaching the cultivation level of the Dharma realm in the near future. In the midst of this introspection, Tubiyan knocked on the door. Upon opening it, Yi Xian inquired about the matter at hand. Tubiyan, with a sense of urgency, revealed that their adversaries had arrived. Arriving at the entrance of a particular hall, the vice sect leader, accompanied by others, confronted Yi Xian, questioning his reluctance to emerge and speculating if he was driven by a fear of death and greed for life. Jiang Yi agreed with this sentiment, suggesting that their vice sect leader's reputation might have intimidated Yi Xian to the point of peeing his pants. The vice sect leader laughed off the comment, confident that Yi Xian wouldn't dare make a fool of himself in his presence. Adding to the mix, the Huanshao sect's great elder, who was introduced as Ku Xiaotian, made a grand entrance. Recognizing the elder, Jiang Yi briefed the vice sect leader on Xiaotian's identity, prompting Wanli to remark on the situation becoming more lively. Acknowledging Xiaotian, the vice sect leader commented on his unexpected personal visit. In response, Xiaotian highlighted the rarity of the body of infatuation, prompting him to question why the Huanshao sect would choose to overlook it now that it had made an appearance. Following this, Yi Xian brazenly opened the door, criticizing their noisiness. Surveying the figure before them, the vice sect leader inquired if he was indeed Yi Xian. Confirming his identity, Yi Xian pointed out the lack of prior notification for their surprise visit. With a subtle display of his sword, he hinted at its potential role in their impending confrontation. Upon witnessing the sword, the great elder exclaimed in astonishment, recognizing it as a heavenly level sword. Following this, the vice sect leader turned to Wanli, emphasizing that Yi Xian is not someone to be underestimated. He proposed the idea of joining forces to deliver a decisive blow and eliminate him. Just as Wanli voiced her agreement, she cast a mysterious glance at Yi Xian, leaving him to wonder about the unpredictable intentions of the enigmatic girl. Following this, the vice sect leader initiated his move, openly challenging Yi Xian to showcase his strength. Emerging from the ensuing explosion, Yi Xian poised his sword, issuing a challenge to the elder to take it. In response, the elder unleashed a barrage of projectiles towards Yi Xian. Reacting with remarkable swiftness, Yi Xian skillfully deflected every projectile. However, the great elder intervened by imposing restrictions on Yi Xian. Seizing the opportunity, the vice sect leader directed another barrage of projectiles. Upon making contact with his sword, the projectiles immediately exploded, eliciting a subtle expression of concern from Wanli. Upon emerging from the explosion, Yi Xian criticized their shamelessness for ganging up on him and challenged them to prove their abilities by facing him one-on-one. However, the vice sect leader didn't mince words, unabashedly admitting to using numbers to bully the weak and asserting that this marked Yi Xian's end. Unexpectedly, a cloud boat suddenly appeared, and a group of individuals emerged. Addressing Yi Xian as the national warrior, one of them declared that he would be waiting. Intrigued, the vice sect leader questioned who he was waiting for. In response, Jiang Yutian confidently asserted the alliance between the royal family of the Ning Kingdom and Yi Xian, emphasizing their shared destiny. The sixth-floor master, accompanied by others, echoed a similar sentiment for the drunken immortal building. Expressing unwavering support, Feng Lan, accompanied by Mu Yuan and the two advisors, declared his willingness to stand by Yi Xian, even if it meant facing death. Appreciating the honor of such backing, Yi Xian declared his readiness to face whatever comes without regrets. In response, the vice sect leader insulted the group, vowing to teach them a lesson.